and welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to talk about a few things with you guys. In my typical life, I still get questions asked mostly about my locks. I just recently colored my locks. Well, not recently colored my locks. I colored my locks back in July, and I've been having a lot of great compliments on it. As a matter of fact, my best friend actually brought this hair dye from me. I've been trying to get my hair red for so long, and every time I go for like a bright red, it always ends up turning brown for some strange reason, and then I kind of give up on life about it, and I just move on with rocking the brown. So, but I'm so happy that my friend found this hair dye for me. I actually use L'Oreal for dark hair only, and it did wonders. So now I found my hair dye that I've always been waiting for, but this video is going to be about things of what you should not do to your hair. So I'm going to talk about that. I've learned in the past 4 years, okay, things that I should not have done to my hair that I truly regret, that can cause so much damage to your hair and is so unhealthy. I am a big fanatic when it comes to my hair, and only because in the past when I was addicted to the creamy crack as far as perms and straighteners, was the heat damage would break my hair off. I've discussed this story before where my hair only rode a certain length and then it would completely break off. My hair is literally at the longest state it has ever been in its life, and let me tell you, it's great. Less maintenance. I've always recommended to people whenever they decide to go for locks, like my 14-year-old niece wants to get locks, and I asked her, what do you like about them? Because you know you have to go through a baby locking phase, which a lot of people don't like and just wish for it to be over. I'm going to explain why I also miss those days. Even though I didn't start from a big chop, I started from relaxed hair. Still 4 years later, still it's going its length and it's still going. So I'm going to talk about a few things of what you should not do to your hair when you get locks or when you start locks. First thing that I've learned that has been the biggest mistake of mine was constantly retwisting. I learned this kind of quick and early on. A lot of people don't learn it quickly on, and sometimes they have to be forced to cut their hair, or they just have thin locks, which can look pretty sorry guys, does not look good. So I'm happy that I learned it, you know, first on, so I don't retwist my hair as much at all. The most I retwist my hair will probably be once a month, if that, just due to the fact that the thicker the better your locks is. I'm telling you, less maintenance, look, isn't about everything. Everybody's worried about the neatness and that the tightness. Everybody here can't take that, okay? And even though my hair is strong, I still won't recommend constantly retwisting. Sometimes you just need to let your hair grow its own thing and let it thicken up. Like everybody here who has locks, I don't care what kind of hair texture you have, if you stay out of your head and you constantly just don't retwist, I bet you your hair will become thicker and you'll be like, oh my goodness. Let me tell you, I had to deal with it. But the constant retwisting thins out your locks, breaks your hair off drastically, and you do not want to do that. Over retwisting is a no-no. I'm just telling you, over retwisting, no, it's out. Another thing you shouldn't do is be careful with kind of products you put in your hair. I'm not a real big fan of products, obviously, because I've learned from early on experiences that it can cause a lot of buildup in your hair. And sometimes the longer your hair gets, the more heavy it gets. And it can also not just be due to your dreads being heavy, but because of the product that you put. I've always been told this, and I've always seen from myself, if it's creamy, it's a no-no. And they don't have to be, for you, but for me, if it's creamy, it's a no-no. I want to see through my shampoo so I know it's guaranteed to wash out. And that's just my personal experience. Everybody has something different. But for me, if it's creamy, it's out. Because the next thing I'm going to think of is the residue that's going to be in my hair. And I feel like it's going to stay in there. And I'm going to have to just do all types of stuff to get it out. It can look very unattractive, very unappealing. No. Take it out completely. And another thing that I learned with things of not to do, which I just talked about, is constantly dyeing your hair, especially bleaching. If you constantly bleach your hair, you know, no matter what kind of hair texture you have, bleach is bad for you altogether already. So putting that kind of chemical in your hair daily a lot can also cause breakage to your locks. Even if your hair is holding on to a bunch of dead hair, because that's what locks is, nothing but matted dead hair, it can still cause breakage and damage to your locks, and it's still something that you want to try to prevent and not do. What I do is I dye my hair. If I want to do like a little touch up, I'll dye it once a month. I won't go more than that. I did something a while ago, but I bleached my hair and I used all these high-tech chemicals, and then I re-dyed it on top of the bleaching, and I've learned that was a no-no. My locks started breaking off like crazy. Even though, do not be frightened when your locks do break off. Like if you have any hanging ones, that just comes with the territory. Like look, I have a little hanging lock, right? But it's natural. And the number one thing you do not want to do with a hanging lock is pull it. Because if you pull it, you're actually stripping your hair. If you get tired of it and it's annoying you, like this doesn't annoy me as much until I see it. And then when I see it, I want to hurry up and cut it. The best thing to do is to cut it off. Do not pull it, because you are stripping your hair. And it's not good to strip your hair with locks when you pull it. It can put a lot of strain and stress on your hair, and that's something that you do not want to do. Do not put any more strain or stress on your hair. It's still your hair. It's still a part of your head. It's going to be one part of your head as long as you want it to be on top of your head. Just make sure you take good care of it. Remember, the less maintenance, the better when it comes to having locks. Locks is a hairstyle where you don't have to do too much, where you don't have to spend too much money. You can just wake up and go whenever you feel like it. It's a freestyle hairstyle, but it's also less maintenance. So many people are worried about the neatness, and sometimes that's great, but doing too much to your hair can literally break your hair off, and it's not good for your hair. So the best thing to do that I can give you, and people can be different with this, is to not put too much strain on your hair. Do not stress yourself out. Do not stress your hair out, because your hair would break off. Another thing that I've learned with having locks too is being careful who you let in your head. Everybody may say that they know locks, and in reality they don't. I've actually learned this in the beginning stage of my lock journey. I had a hairdresser do locks in my head, and she was doing it all wrong. First of all, you're supposed to counterclockwise when you retwist my hair. She was going all over the place, and it was also putting too much strain on top of the tightness. You should not get tight bumps. Okay, it should be neat and tight, but it doesn't have to be too tight to where you're getting tight bumps. You know how you get braids or like any type of individual or any type of braids or anything, you get like those little tight itchy bumps where you have to make sure it's moisturized and your scalp is going to dry out because of how tight the braids are. That's how she was doing to my hair, and I should have learned early on, never let a hairdresser do locks. Your best bet is doing it yourself and learning how to do it yourself, and make sure you do a lot of research before doing it so you won't mess up your hair, or getting a professional loctician. It's not good to have certain people playing your hair or do your hair, because sometimes they can also be the reasoning for your hair to break off and stress itself out. So do not do that. Be highly well aware of who you allow in your head. I had this one lady talk to me and told me, she's a very spiritual lady. She let somebody touched her hair, and she literally cut her hair off. Like, well, it wasn't her whole head, it was like one lock, and she didn't know the person, and like I said, she's a spiritual person, so she felt like she was having negative energy the moment that person touched her hair, and she cut her lock off. So really be careful of who you allow in your head. If you don't want nobody to be in your hair any other time, as far as like anybody you was going to before you start locking your hair, do not let them retwist your hair. If they're not a professional loctician, do not go to them. Another thing that people don't tell you about that you should not do as far as having locks is watch who you go to. This might not be a big one than it might be, because I just talked to a young lady recently at my job where she was starting her locks, and she's been locked for a year. A person was overcharging her to lock her hair. And she was a baby locker. Well, she was about a year in, so she wasn't a full baby locker. She had a head full of thick hair, and it was beautiful. And the person was overcharging her because she didn't know too much about locks. Before you get locks like I had to do, I had to research like crazy. I don't know anyone who has locks. So I'm actually the first person and only person in my family who has locks. That's a lie. My aunt just recently locked her hair about 2 years ago. But I'm not really get close to my aunt as much, so I don't talk to her about that. But before I locked my hair 4 years ago, I had to do research. I had to dig in deep. And people was trying to overcharge me, and I was just like, I'm not having it. Sometimes it depends on what state you're in, and it also depends on how long your locks are. Like, I haven't been to a loctician in years, so I really don't know how much it would charge for a loctician. I do retwist my hair myself. Last time I've been to a loctician, it only cost me 60 bucks to go to a professional loctician to do my hair. Now that my hair has grown, I don't know how much it would cost, but like I said, it also depends on what type of state you're in. If they're all having about the same prices, more than likely it's the price. But if you have like $40 here and somebody's charging you $100 and something here, you're going to want to take the $40 if they're a professional. I do not recommend going to someone who is not a professional, just because, especially when you're first starting to lock, just because you're actually trusting them with your life, pretty much, because that hair is a part of your life, right? So you're trusting them of how they're going to have your locks look from 10 years from now, 5 years from now, and even one simple mistake can ruin your locks completely. So you need to be careful of who you allow in your head once again. Make sure they're not overpricing you. Be very cautious about that, and just do research before getting locks. I've always said this: research, 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 research is the most important thing before you start locking your hair. Is there anything else I must add? I think I took my lipstick off. Yeah, I think I pretty much took my lipstick off. As far as that's pretty much it for me. Like I said before, I do use a lot of oils because your hair is already naturally dry. For some people, you know, your hair can take oils like a champ. For other people, it dries up. It all depends on what kind of hair texture you have or what kind of scalp you have, if it's going to absorb the oils or not. So just be on the cautious side. A few oils that I had discussed in one of my previous videos that I've used is argan oil, castor oil, coconut oil, almond sweet oil, grapefruit oil. There's so many great oils out there. You just have to make sure to be right for the ones that's actually right for your head. Another thing that I use that I love and works for everything was Dr. Castle oil, Dr. K shampoo, not oil, Dr. K shampoo, and it works for everything. Google it, look it up. I'm telling you, it works beauty on especially locks. What you might have to do is strip it a little bit, because it can work for literally washing clothes, house chore things, face wash, body wash, shampoo. For your hair, you might want to strip it with a different type of shampoo. Another thing that I've learned with locks too, I've never conditioned my hair, ever. Like I said, if it's creamy, it's not for me. For you, it might be something different. But I'm telling you, for baby locks, them clumps can get into your hair, and you're already going through a phase and a stage where you don't want to be washing your hair as frequently, because you would have to keep going to the loctician and spending money to get it retwisted. So as far as like doing the light off wash, you might have to go a little longer, presuming how your hair may be, of locking your hair, just due to the fact of once you wash it and you really get in there, because you have to have a clean scalp, it can definitely unravel your locks, and you just probably wasted about $60 or $80, however you may spend to first get your your locks. So I recommend that you stay away from any type of conditioners, especially if you're just locking. I know some people who do condition their hair when they have locks. I personally have never conditioned my hair, only because, like I said, if it's creamy and I'm scared of it, I like to step away from it. It can cause buildup in my hair. I tried it in the past. It didn't do too good to my hair, and I still have buildup to this day. So I stay away from that type of stuff. Another thing relating to the hanging locks, you're only going to have hanging locks because it's dead hair. It's actually the beginning stage of when you start locking. So don't be frightened. Don't be afraid. It happens. It's normal. Just saying. I've heard that from plenty of people, professional people who does locks. It is completely normal. Pretty much that's it for me that I can personally recommend as far as starting your locks, or you're thinking about locks. Research, research, research. Everybody's hair texture is different. Everybody is different. In different states is different. So just pretty much just do research before jumping into it. And it's a big decision. How long do you want locks? Do you plan to have them for a long time? Do you plan to have them for a short period of time? Do you plan to start with braid out, coils, twist? There are plenty of different ways that you can start off with your locks. Make sure you try to choose the one that fits perfect for you and what's best for you and what you want to do. And that's pretty much it. So in the meantime, guys, thank you for listening and watching. I'm sorry for the rambling mess up video. I hope you guys get the concept. And so yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video very soon. Much peace and love to you all. Bye.